This shit is wild. So apparently, there's been a lot of people in the Maddie Soto case that have come out trying to talk to investigators and tell them what was going on with Maddie and what was going on in the home with these roommates and these people that Stefan and Jen had in and out of the house renting rooms from them. I found the tea. My shoulder is killing me, first of all. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Trying to make sure that I have light. So first of all, I want to tell you how they were able to charge this asshole with these crimes. So he was trained as Stefan. We were talking about it earlier. First of all, they were able to charge him with every picture that they had from the case. So when Stefan handed his phone over after Maddie went missing, Maddie Soto, when Stefan handed his phone over, they found Stefan had cleaned his phone. He had factory reset on his phone. But investigators were able to pull all of that information, I don't know where. They were able to find all of these pictures. Through years of the abuse, Stefan had been abusing her and taking pictures, and he had all this shit saved on his phone that he had tried to delete that they were able to retrieve. Those pictures are how they were able to charge him with these 60 counts of abuse. For every picture, they could tell Matt's age. This man was drugging this girl. He was drugging her and viciously assaulting her and filming it and taking pictures. Y'all, there is so much dirt on Reddit. Listen. First of all, this court docket is readily available online. If you just type in his name, Stefan Stearns. If you just type that in, you can see this court docket and see the actual events of what the cops and investigators are alleging. The entire court docket is online under Stefan Stearns. You can see what he did to Maddie online. It's not hard to find. This is Reddit shit. Y'all, let me just start from the beginning. This keeps getting worse. So I was literally taking screenshots for tomorrow, and it's just so much. I can't wait till tomorrow. Let me go back and start from, because it gets so extreme that I was just like, whoa, what the fuck? I have to stop and go live. All right. First of all, on a personal note, I posted a bunch of stuff online to sell Nike, my Jordans, and some. So first of all, this is how you can find this state docket right here. You can go and see the docket. You see, I typed in his name, and it comes right up. You can see the counts that they're alleging, and the charges. So first of all, I found his LinkedIn. This dude held a job. He had one job for a year, and then he had another job for 3 years. But the last time that he was employed that's listed was 2017. So he was not working. And from what I've read on Reddit, he was living off of Jennifer. So let's just start from the beginning. So apparently, Stefan would go on Reddit and go to post about single women with children, and he would comment on those posts, telling women that they needed to let their guards down. Listen to this. One particular comment he left was under a post about a woman's fear of allowing her husband to change or bathe her daughter. She acknowledged that she had been essayed as a child herself and was extra vigilant for her daughter because of that. Stefan left a very passionate response, telling this woman that it was unfair and wrong of her and that she needs serious counseling because she's hurting her husband. So he was saying that woman is crazy. You need to let your husband change your daughter, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing, though. This man doesn't have kids, so I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that he doesn't need to be given any kind of advice, especially when it's in the bit of a pervert, potentially. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works? Okay, he's over here telling this a woman to do this, and if the husband was a pervert, that's how you have to think, because that's how these perverts think. Listen to this. It says, this ain't even the good shit, y'all. I just want to tell y'all everything, because It said, while in other circumstances this was probably wise, but because he's proven to be such a predator and disgusting, vile human being, these comments to me are very telling of how he operates. We all know that Jen has some serious mental health issues. I'm so glad that I'm not the only one, because I feel like I'm the only one. I've saw nobody else say, wait a minute, this woman's not right in the head. And then I go to Reddit, and that's what everybody. So, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm just saying the quiet stuff out loud that I'm not supposed to. What's new? It says she possibly overtook prescription medications. She's a prime candidate for a slimy predator. I'm sure Jen expressed concerns about her intuition, her suspicion, and her fears. And knowing the words Stefan used to guilt the mother on Reddit, I'm almost certain he used the same type of language with Jim. This is all alleged, but we're looking into the mind of how a man like this operates. It gets better. He likes to play the victim part, and to anyone that is emotionally and mentally susceptible to gaslighting and guilt trip, I'm sure he can take full advantage. Jen was perfect for him. A single mother, already involved in somewhat shameful sexual behavior. We've heard Jen talk. Something happened to her, man. I don't know what the fuck, but we've heard her talk about these sinful things, the way that she expresses sex, and she talks about sex is off. It's just not right. It's not normal. Something happened. I don't know. So it said Jen was perfect for him, a single mother already involved in some shameful sexual behavior. Now, shameful is what Jen calls it. She called it shameful sex. So, emotionally unstable, she was probably already questioning her own perceptions and intuition. He played on that and made her feel guilty for expressing any concerns. That's what gaslighters do in relationships. Every time you try to bring up a serious topic, surface level people, they shut that topic down, and they're incapable of discussing it. Predators don't only groom their prey, they also groom anyone that might get in the way of their perpetuating. Jen groomed for years. I'm not surprised that this woman has had the wool pulled over her eyes. She should have went with her intuition in regards to her daughter, no matter what kind of guilt the freak laid on her. I think he was... Sorry. It says, I think he was useful to her, which made it easier for her to nod intuition. And that's another thing that I was trying to figure out. Wait a second. Was he working? In fact, he wasn't. Jen was working. That's why Jen supposedly sent Maddie upstairs to her room, remember? Because she wanted a good night's rest. So this man is living in her house, leeching on her, taking in other roommates, charging them rent. It says, Stefan probably watched Maddie whenever Jen wanted him to. It's all so sad and sick. So this is a different person responded. That's a really good point. I wouldn't put it past him to been tracking her on her socials or anything of the sort. Dude, I didn't even think about that. If she did like this boy. So apparently Maddie had come home and told Stefan that she had a crush on a boy, and Stefan told Jennifer. Now this is the story. I haven't believed it. However, maybe, because apparently it was like summer break. It was about to be summer break, and Maddie had been staying with her grandma, and then she come home supposedly and told Steven that she liked this boy. Hold on one second. It says, I didn't even think about how obsessed this Stefan dude would have been with her. Steven. I keep calling him Steven, sorry. It never occurred to me that he was probably watching her like a hawk when Jennifer wasn't around. Jennifer, let's not forget that he was responsible Monday morning for getting her up and taking her to school. So Jennifer had pretty much allowed him to be, stepping in as a father, and he was doing that. I never, this poor girl had no free moment until she was at her grandma's house. Now, I think it was like spring break or something, or it might have been summer, because this would have been April, March. So whatever school break you get, Maddie took a school break, and she went to her grandma's. And her grandma said that the day before she was supposed to go back to her mama's, she was a fucking mess. She was screaming and crying and begging not to go back over there. We'll get into it in a second. But I just want y'all to know that this poor girl had no one to go to in this situation. Her mama Her mama had no backbone. We're gonna get into it. Everybody knew that this was not a good situation. I want you to know. So it says, I wouldn't put it past him to have been tracking her on her social medias or anything of the sort. He was obsessed with her in the most disturbing, deprivative way. Wouldn't be shocked if some of the activity on her YouTube page they mentioned was from him watching, interacting with the dancing videos she would post. Which it makes me sad that she was going to be So apparently she had a social media page on YouTube, and she was going to be doing Maddie was going to be doing a face reveal when she got to 200 subscribers, and she never got to do that. Now, this person says they don't know what her YouTube username was, but apparently Maddie supposedly had a YouTube page where she would post dancing videos, and it was saying that, Stefan was watching her through her social medias. He was watching her accounts and stuff. Let's not forget, he had a gun in her nightside fucking table. Whether that was his room or her room, it's not clear, but it's kids' toys all over it. Y'all fucking saw it. Now, that's the same room that there was a gun, allegedly, in the nightside table. And it also locked on the inside of the freaking room. Don't be naive. Don't be naive. He was stalking this girl. And if it's true that she did have a crush and she told him, that might have been enough to send him to the edge. He might have knew that this train was coming to the damn stop, and that she was growing some backbone and she was over it and she was going to snitch. Let's not forget that he had been doing this for years, but this is a pivotal moment in a young girl's life. 13 is when you really start to figure out who you are. And maybe this break at her grandmother's, where she had a break from the abuse, was enough. I don't know. We're going to read about it. This is all alleged. This is what people on Reddit are saying. This is what kind of makes sense in a weird way. So it says that this guy stalking her, Stefan, her stepfather, we're going to call him the mother's boyfriend, because that's what he was. It says, I agree. He was extremely calculated. I'd go as far as to say he probably had a God complex. He always seemed to take the high and mighty stance and really got off on patronizing people while he gaslit them. I also think he kept close tabs on everything Maddie did. In his sick and twisted mind, he likely convinced himself his feelings were reciprocated by Maddie, which is how a lot of these perpetrators think. What have I told you guys? That's nail on the head. Nail on the head. They truly believe that their victims are into it. Even if their victims are saying no, they don't know what no means. They're incapable of accepting no. They're incapable of accepting no. I have no doubt that he was stalking her too. It says, still find it hard to believe Jen had absolutely no idea what was going on. And if she didn't, most parents would notice the behavior changes in their child, etc. at least. Here's something very telling. I went back and was looking pictures of Maddie. Approximately the time that she met Stefan, she got real skinny and dark and pale. And then the past year, she started to put on a lot of weight. Now, also, Jen was on mental health meds. We don't know if Maddie was on mental health meds. Now, she was on mental health meds, and I do believe she was actually. Hold on. Let me think. Yes, I think she was. Hold on. We're going to read in a second. There's family members that have come to Reddit now. There's other people in the community that's coming to Reddit. Best friends of Jen have come to Reddit. We're going to read all that. So, freaking... allegedly Maddie was on drugs. Now that could have been a reason for the weight gain, but I know that when I was a child, I intentionally ate to gain weight, thinking that it would deter my abuser from abusing me. When I was 14 and I was in Samarkand Youth Development Center, I intentionally wouldn't shower thinking that it would deter my abuser from me. So was it intentional or was it the mental health? I don't know, but she went from healthy kid to pale, homely looking kid to all of a sudden in the past year from 12 to 13, she put on a significant amount of weight, which can be normal. And then you'll thin out too. We all put on a little, we either got super skinny or I got super fat. And then I thinned out once I reached, graduating high school. I started to thin out because I started getting taller. But I just, you have to, these things are a sign. So it says, from seeing her interviews and her behavior, Jen, I think she knew what was happening, turned a blind eye to it because she wasn't capable of living life without Stefan. So somebody commented and said, supposedly he even knew her menstrual cycle. That is so creepy. His eyes are dark and calculating. That's what I said. His eyes look so creepy. Now, I don't know if any of this is true. I'm just telling you that sometimes Reddit be telling you more information than anybody. That's all I'm saying. Let's see here. So apparently these people have found his Reddit post. It says, quote, his Reddit comments are so gross, placing himself on a pedestal of morality. Meanwhile, he's been abusing a child for years. I can't stand it. The following statement is my opinion only, but he seems like the type who I can't understand it. I'm sorry. It says, Jen Soto must have closed her eyes tightly and walked around with her eyes shut and her ears closed all day. Day after day, month after month, year after year, in order not to see that abuse. Yeah, right. There's too many red flags to think that Jen knew nothing. Even if he was manipulating her to the bone, she should have been concerned. His behavior should have been what raised more questions. I hope they arrest her. Unless she was raised to go to sleep with her mom's boyfriend or whatever. There's no excuse. She needs time to think about every moment Maddie suffered. And can I just say that court docket, y'all, I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. It really upset me. All I'm going to say is, don't show that to your kids. Don't be sitting there with no 15-year-old youngin' reading that court docket. It was a lot worse than I thought. Okay, so another Redditor agreed. No, I agree. Should be looked at for negligence. I also think that it was easy for her to ignore the red flags in her own tuition because having Steven around was beneficial for her. It's sick twisted, but I do believe Jen lived her life in serious denial and cognitive dissonance, and I'm pretty positive she is devastated, crushed, and in a very bad way because of all of the revelations and the fact that her daughter is gone. Ooh, and somebody else said yes to all of this except the part about her being crushed and in a very bad way. That's what I said. She didn't even, honestly, she didn't even speak highly of Maddie. Her own daughter. She just really seemed like her daughter was a pain in the ass to have around. Even when she went missing, she didn't even seem concerned. Her and Stefan goes into the police station and they act like they're not even concerned, you guys. When they reported Maddie missing, they were so nonchalant, like it wasn't a fucking big deal that their child was missing. Seriously. They're not right. They're not right. People like this are a danger to society. Seriously. So the Redditor was saying that, going back to the part where it says they think that Jen had her blinders on because Stefan was more of a resource for her than she even realized. Once again, supposedly, Maddie was at her grandma's for an extended period of time for this break in school. And when, once again, she didn't want to come back. But when she came back, it was Sunday night. Jen ain't even seen her kid because her kid's been at her mama's house, okay, on spring break or whatever it was. It was either the last week before school started back or something. I don't know, y'all. I'm assuming spring break. But anyways, it'd been like a week or so, approximately, and Jen ain't even seen her kid. Maddie comes back that Sunday night, and Jennifer sends her kid upstairs with Stefan, and Jennifer's like, oh, I got to get some sleep. And then she expected Stefan to wake up Maddie in the morning and take her to school, at which time he dumped her body in a field. So it seems like he was doing a lot more than, for Jen than she even realized. It sounds like he was pretty much with Maddie more than other was, which is even more terrifying. So listen to this. It says Jennifer, she didn't seem to speak very highly of Maddie when she was on the news expressing that she thought she had taken. She denied identifying her daughter in the photos when they were showed to her. She doesn't emote like a concerned or loving parent. From what little I've seen Oh, and somebody else said that part. That part. You don't need to close your eyes when you say go to sleep with my on again, off again boyfriend. The other let's see. How many square feet? Okay, so this Reddit talking about how tiny this house was. Y'all remember the pictures of the house that we saw today? We watched a video of the house, how the layout of the house. This person is saying, how many square feet was her place? Did she have soundproofing in every room and door? Seriously, it's not like she lived in an estate that was 10,000 square feet. Saying that Maddie and her were not that far apart and that Jen should have heard something tonight. The roommates said that they heard something. But it's saying that, Jennifer really had to been living with her blinders on, to be living. And it says, close quarters, brief times, etc., so on and so off. Boyfriend spends lots of times with Maddie on his infrequent visits, and they're not all in the same room. He's just in a bed with Maddie. That's crazy. I don't think Jen was groomed. I think she was desperate and didn't speak up or say anything, as she valued herself by having a man, any man, as he was the weakest example of a functioning, competent, and capable man capable to have around her daughter. Before he was known to be a R-worder, she didn't need intuition. It all happened for years right there, a few feet from her. Y'all. I just don't buy into the theory poor clueless Jen had no idea. Let's not forget, speaking of her in the past tense during an interview with detectives, apparently Jen was talking about her daughter in the past tense during an interview with detectives. Now, we all know, if you don't know, let me tell you, this is a telltale sign of somebody knowing too much. It means that they did it. When they start talking about, oh, I loved her, I used to love her, and we don't even know if this person's dead or alive, that's a telltale sign that somebody has some information that investigators need. So they're saying that Jennifer, when she was interrogated, she was talking about her daughter in the past tense. Now, all of those interrogation tapes are online. Also, it says that Jennifer was caught consoling the man who potentially murdered her daughter, saying, I don't think she'd know how to get home. That really stuck out to me. Like, you think Maddie isn't competent enough at 13 to figure out how to get home or have common sense? They are ripping this woman apart. I mean, and rightfully so, because it's just baffling to me how she has not been charged. I mean, it's just plain simple, and the writing's on the wall. So apparently Stefan was busted through some of his internet searches. Remember, we were talking about earlier, there was medications that they said that he was trying to order off the internet, and we didn't know what they were. Right here it says, meds are not surgical anesthesia, for Pete's sake. So let's see. Hold on. I saw something about medication. He did drug Maddie. Quote, allegedly. He did drug Maddie. Docs say she looked to be asleep in some or more of the videos and photos. Now, that was something that I read too, is that she appeared to be unconscious when most of these things were being done to her. That I'm grateful for. Was she playing asleep? Was she actually unconscious because he drugged her? And this says, this Redditor pointed out that no one can sleep through SA like that. He drugged her. He even taught her nightly meds. So we know Maddie didn't scream or cry loud for anyone to hear. Now, this is all alleged. Another Redditor said, to be clear, I wasn't talking about children's medicine. I meant adult meds. And someone else pointed out that, if she was drugged, then maybe that's why Jen didn't hear. So, you know, they're going to bat for certain areas, but at the same time, it's like, girl, this went on for years. This wasn't a one-time thing. Her death, one-time thing. The abuse was going on for years. So another Redditor says, yes, I struggle with the mother letting her child be abused for years. That poor little never had a chance. I'm angry that she hasn't been arrested for just letting them sleep together. I'm angry that she's going to play I'm on the meds card. She's just as a monster as Stefan. For me, she's the bigger monster, betrayed Maddie as her mother. Absolutely. Stefan was just a lazy opportunist. If Jen said no, he would have just moved on and found a different depraved mess of a mom to let him mooch and do whatever he wanted. Unfortunately, there's no shortage of them. This is not, just because I'm reading this, I mean, I agree with it. However, I will say that I've noticed that, you know, men will, these guys out here, they're creeps, man. You got to be careful and protect your children and be careful who you got around your kids, man. Because they will absolutely get with a mother just to abuse a child. It happens every single day. And that actually happens more frequently than not. Like, it comes to, there's a 17% chance. Remember, we did that essay thing, and it said that 17% caretakers, as far as men caretaking for little girls, 17% of the boyfriend's mamas harm the child. 17%. Remember that? And it was 1%, or no, it was 2% of biological fathers harm their children. Only 2% of biological fathers essay their own daughters. But 17% of stepfathers and boyfriends, like mother's boyfriends, 17%. That's huge. Now, we did a video on that a while back. You can go find that. We talked about SA. I'm sure it has statistics on SA title, Human ST. So I'm still not understanding if that was her room or if it was Stefan's room with just some of her stuff in it. Like, were her and sharing a room? Because this says, most of all, she's crying out. She deserves a loving home, a room to call hers, privacy, and most of all, real love. Here, it's getting good. Given everything I've heard, and most often, hold on, Stefan was losing control. He was banished to Northport with his parents. Miserable. I believe she told her mom, no, I don't want him here. Don't let him come here. And Jen, being who she is, was like, no, he's coming. Get over it. Maddie told her grandma, no, I don't want to go home on Saturday. Remember I told you the day before she was due back to her mom's on Sunday night? She was crying. She escaped having him abuse her that night. Sunday came and she was forced to go home. Jesus Christ. I just got done listening to the clip. Oh, sorry. So this Reddit person says, I believe this was the catalyst for everything I've heard. I really don't think she was prego. I think that it was, as she said no, and that was that. Yeah, that's enough. You see what I'm going through. You see what I'm going through. It's enough. Y'all, these people are weird. You got to keep people like this out of your life, away from your children. You got to teach your daughters better. This is, and I'm not talking about Maddie. I'm just saying, like, me. You got to teach me. If somebody would have taught me different, things might have been different. So they're saying that Maddie was putting her foot down and that, you know, she had told him no. So it says right here, it says, he said, she's never heard no. She always gets what she wants. How dare poor Maddie have a voice and advocate for herself? I think her not going home Saturday sent him over the edge. So apparently it looks like she was supposed to go home to her mom's on Saturday, but ended up not going till Sunday. He got mad that he didn't get his sex on fucking Saturday. Go fucking figure. What was a top priority? What did I tell you happens when they don't get their fucking way? I don't know, man. This is just alleged, but people have died for less. So this Redditor says, I think that he went home on Saturday, sent him over the edge. He knew he was losing her and that she had a crush on a boy. She wasn't taking her meds, and the meds they controlled her with. It was going to come out eventually that he was abusing her. He had to kill her. In his sick, demented mind, it had to be done. But because he's a sick fuck, he just couldn't give up those pics. Just like the greedy little fucker he is. That did him in, thank God. I pray that Jen slips and is found guilty of something, but I won't hold my breath. I agree with this person. I mean, I don't know if this story is true, but if it is true that Maddie actually had a crush, then, you know, yeah. He knew that she was going to tell everything. Now, this was the one where it says that she had previously been on meds and she wasn't taking her meds. The meds was how they controlled her. Now, this is alleged, but if that's true, that makes sense why she, you know, if she took the meds, she was becoming aware. And listen, I know that sounds crazy for a 13-year-old to be this meticulous and smart, but they are nowadays. They are. Thanks to social media. Thanks to social media. I think that kids are learning quicker than they ever have, absolutely, but not all kids are learning the things that they should be. We got a lot of kids out here in the bad stuff. It says, in my experience, when I've talked to younger youth, especially when I was working at the winery, I talked to tons of younger youth, you know, and they just seem so much more mature and stable and aware than I was at that age. And that's just been my experience with them. And so, if it's true that Maddie really had a crush and that she was trying to put her foot down and stop the abuse from happening to herself, it could have been enough to send him over the edge. It's really sad that this poor girl didn't even have her damn mama to go to. And we're getting into that because it's allegedly her grandmother knew about the abuse too. Allegedly. Let's just proceed. So another Redditor commented and said, yes, this makes most sense. Maddie was finding her voice. Number one, she had just had a couple of months away from him and away from the abuse. Time to think, space beyond just desperately trying to be safe. A taste of life without abuse, and it gave her strength. Point two, she's around the age sex ed would have gotten more explicit at school, and no doubt they would have talked about SA. Point three, she just turned 13, an age where people start to express their own boundaries and agency. Not only that, that's when they start to find out who they are, start assessing who they are and how different they are. And, you know, that's when their sense of self starts to establish. And this poor child is going through this. And we've talked about how this affects your sense of self when you're getting abused like this at a young age. You don't have a sense of self. So, you know, I can't imagine what this poor child has been through. So this Redditor says, so she said no to him coming to the party. Apparently she had her 13th birthday party at her grandma's house and she's told him not to come and he still showed up. So maybe that was where she had a crush on a boy, is at this party. And then after shows up. Y'all, don't get me started on triggers and how this triggers you seeing your abuser. But this is why I don't talk to mine, and this is why I haven't seen mine in over a year. So it says, and this is supposedly could have triggered his psychotic rage. After months of festering in his room and feeling his power and influence over Maddie diminishing, he could handle it, and he sensed her growing strength and feared disclosure because of it. So he acted out his one last vile fantasy, and intentionally murdered her. Now, this is all alleged, but let me tell you something. I got personal experience with how they come after you when you tell them no. And he was for years until she put her foot down, allegedly. And if she did have a crush, you know, I don't know. So people are in the comments agreeing, saying everything you say is on point. Maddie would have felt so free without Satan leeching off of them. I don't know, when Maddie told him about her crush, that would have enraged him. I bet that was the tipping point. So here we go about the grandmother. I'm shocked and appalled to learn that others knew how bad it was and did nothing. They never do. The grandmother knew Maddie was fearful and not sleeping alone. Huge red flags for trauma, SA. Okay, that is a huge red flag. And she said she was crying and did not want to go home the day of the party, yet they brought her there anyways. That is insane to me. They also knew how unwell Jen was, sleeping all day, disabled, making poor choices, and fucked up the living situation. Hold on. So apparently, Jen and Stefan were renting rooms in this house, which was why Maddie didn't have her bedroom. But as y'all saw in that picture, that one bedroom has nothing but children's and girl stuff all in it. So it says, this says, no 12-year-old girl should live with so many people and have zero privacy. I agree. The grandmother and aunt lived nearby and seemed well off. I don't get it. And unless I heard wrong, it sounded like Stefan's parents knew Jen was requesting Maddie to sleep with Stefan. Like, what in the actual fuck? That's what I'm saying. So Stefan's parents know that Stefan and Maddie are sleeping in the same bed. The grandmother and the aunt know. And I just don't understand, man. Jen and Stefan were adults making insanely awful choices, yet they were enabled by even more adults who made their choices possible. They say it takes a village to raise a healthy child, but in this case, the village was harming her. So it says, this was interesting. There was a roommate that actually texted Jen weeks before Matt's death and said something about the sleeping arrangement when this roommate had moved in. So it says, hoping to see evidence that someone gave an actual crap and trying to help, but right now it looks like no one cared other than one roommate. Another person commented and said, I thought the grandmother was on top BS at the beginning, but the more we learned, she was just like the other people who saw and did nothing. If she loved Maddie, she would have gotten her out of there. She knows Jen better than anyone. I think we can agree that we can all agree she was not to raise a child. So this person says, the roommate, apparently, I'm trying to find it. Okay, here it is. The roommate, one of the roommates that were living in the house with Jen and Stefan had texted Jen in the past expressing concern for Stefan going to bed with Maddie. So this roommate moves in and she's like, oh, what in the actual fuck is going on here? Why is this 12-year-old girl getting into bed with a 38-year-old man, 37-year-old man? And the roommate texts Jen and says, this is weird. And Jen says, okay. And so another person says, can you elaborate? This is the elaboration. The roommate sent Jen a text in the past expressing concern for Stefan going to bed with Maddie. Jen replied with a compelling thanks. Jen let this pedo into Maddie's life. She's playing dumb. And law enforcement is buying it. And that is the frustrating part for me. So apparently there's this podcast, Grizzly True Crime, and they were going over interviews and the police reports. And it said, but I thought that the roommate was concerned that Maddie and SS were playing video games alone and behind a closet door. She texted Jen, who replied thanks with no answers or follow-up. If it was more than that, the roommate knew that they were in bed together. Y'all. It looks at this point that nobody tried to intervene. It seems like everyone knew that Maddie, her mother, and these two roommates were all in this messed up living arrangement. The grandmother knew something was going on with Maddie because every time Maddie would have to go back home, she was obviously throwing a fit. Hold on one second. Ooh, there's another person on here that says, go to show that kids don't always tell a lot of the time. What did we did the numbers on that. What was it, like 23%, 21% of children who are essayed tell? More girls than boys. Boys typically don't tell at all. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. You know, one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about these things is because I was one of the kids that told. And so my father went to prison, and the cops took me serious. I was 9 years old when I told, and you know, from what I can remember, it started when I was like 6. So I told the cops, and I actually told my grandmother. My grandma told the cops, and he went to jail. And so I'm glad that my cries did not fall on deaf ears, because I don't know what person I would be if that would have went a different direction. You know what I mean? And it might have turned me into an evil person. I don't. But these kids, most of them don't tell. It says her living arrangement was hectic, as in she was living in a damn rooming house with a pedo many people knew she shared a bed with. Shame on all of them. A special place in hell is waiting. So let's go back to what I just, because it gets worse. Like, oh, where'd it go? So it says that she spent her last days at her grandma's house, and there was something else. Hold on, I done lost it, y'all. I guess when I went to my thing, it like, hold on. Hold on, what is this? Ooh. Ooh. This definitely has been said before. I have never ever heard Jen Soto say anything positive about her beautiful daughter. She just names everything negative about her. Embarrassed of their car. Typical teenager. She had ADHD. She had this, had that. Jen makes me sick to my stomach. She never says anything negative about Stefan, though. Whoa, this went off, y'all. This woman is unhinged, and I love it. She said she said, oh God, the last line. I truly hope she gets hit by a car. It says, I truly hope she gets hit by a car. Whoa, this person. Listen, I ain't never wished death on nobody, though. This person is pissed, okay? I mean, they're so mad that I've seen, like, them comment on other posts. So it says, signs of a narcissist mother. If your first genuine instinct is to put down your missing and murdered daughter, something is truly wrong with you. I can only imagine how awful she was to Maddie when Maddie was alive. There was another Reddit forum that I was reading earlier. It was like, hold on one second. Why did it kick me out like that? Maybe if I... Nope. I'll go back. Let's do that. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. So it was under, does anyone else struggle for this case on Reddit? It's just so shocking that everybody knew this stuff, allegedly. Oh, this is what I wanted to tell y'all about. Okay. So, listen to this because I wanted to talk about how men like this start out. Y'all know how I told you it's like a progression. It's not like they wake up one day and they decide that they're going to go assault some woman or child or whatever. It's not like that. It starts off slowly, and it usually starts in their teen years, like the men. I'm talking specifically about men. And they'll either like start expose themselves to people out in the community. I'm talking about like little old ladies going to check the mail, and little Jimmy runs by and just drops his britches just to see that lady's reaction. They get excitement off of the reaction they're getting towards the person that they're victimizing. It's more about the reaction for some of these guys, and it starts off sometimes like that, just like with voyeurism. Creepy as hell. So creepy. Let's talk about this. It says, I was not abused per se, but we had a neighbor pervert that did some questionable things. One day he exposed himself to me in my own pool with my mother steps away, unaware. I never told. I knew it was so wrong, and I had a great relationship with my mom, and I never told her. In my 20s, home from college, my mother mentions this man and the fact that he was dying. And I said, well, that's karma for you. My mother didn't understand why I said something so, weird. So I told her. She was shocked. I mean, shocked. First thing she said, why didn't you tell me? It was odd. Most kids in the neighborhood knew, and the older would watch out for the younger and keep him away. I had to swear to my neighbor, older girl, I would never go in the pool with him alone. I learned why after he exposed himself. Never came over to the pool, and I was alone. When I was alone again, I'd get out after that. So he's saying if he ever came over again, he would get out of the pool if he was alone. During that convo, I said to Mom, quote, wait till I tell Dad. I had never seen my mother look like the way she did when she responded in a panic. No, don't tell him. I laughed and said it didn't matter now. The guy didn't hurt me. He was just a perv. She again in panic said, no. You don't understand. Your father will kill him. Don't tell him. So I know now why kids don't tell. Not one kid in our neighborhood told anyone all that time. No one. Instead, we had generational watch group kids keeping the younger ones away from him. I know when I was older and I babysat, I wouldn't let him near any of the girls, just like my older neighborhood had kept him away from me. Looking back, I still have no good reason for not telling. He was a very light guy by all the parents. I think we felt we wouldn't have been believed, and we didn't want to blow apart the neighborhood over it. Jesus. Poor kids. They got to worry about Chester over here freaking exposing himself at the pool when they're trying to swim and damn do kid things. It's a progression. These behaviors are a progression. I had a manager at a strip club one time that was a surface level person like this, and I was standing at the bar one day. He always was trying to like sleep. I would blow him off, and here's the crazy thing. He was a very good looking man, but he was an idiot. He was dumber than a box of damn rocks. He had been through like 5 marriages. He liked to mooch off of women like women like to mooch off of men. He was one of them, honey. And I wanted nothing to do with him. And he worked for a strip club that I worked at for 5 years. And it was always this awkwardness. It was so weird. But I'm standing at the bar one day, and I walk up to get something from the bar, probably a drink. That was in my Jameson days. And I'm like, yeah, double Jameson. And all I know is this son of a bitch has done dropped his pants to the freaking ground, and he's bent over mooning me. And y'all, it was the weirdest thing. I was like, this motherfucker has to be on drugs. And I was on drugs back then, So, I'm like, he has to be on drugs. It was so weird. Ugh. Bro, so weird. Okay, here's the good part. So this is supposedly, allegedly, some friend of Jen's. So it says, I was a friend with Jen for a short amount of time back summer of 22. I hung out with her at her place one time. The other times she came to my place. Stefan was nice, but too nice, and came off as really fake. I tell you guys, like, when you gotta, I guess maybe you gotta be just around enough people to be able to see through people. Certain people, you can see through them immediately, and it's the super fake ones. And so she's saying that this guy, Stefan, was too, and he seemed fake. I felt like I was getting the customer service version of him, if that makes sense. He made me and Jen margaritas, and looking back, I can't believe I accepted and drank a drink made by that monster. I saw Maddie's makeshift room, which was just a twin-size bed mattress on the living room floor behind one of those foldable room dividers. What did I tell y'all? That's got to be her bedroom. It's going to be... Why is there a fucking lock on the inside for him to lock it? That's why. I thought it was weird, but they said it was because they were renting the rooms out to other family members. I noticed that Stefan lived life with a loaded gun on his hip at all times. Oh, way to ensure fear in a house. Let me tell you. Like, what a weirdo. That made me uneasy, but I knew he was conservative, and just assumed he was one of those 2A fanatics. I don't know what that is, but it don't sound good. Maddie came home right as I was about to leave. She sat on the couch, and I said hi to her and asked how she's doing on my way out. She said she was fine in a shy about way with a smile. See, that's what I'm saying. She's so unsure of herself because, oh, this weirdo. This friend says, what haunts me the most are two things. Jen had said to me that her and Stefan didn't have sex because he was too big and it hurt her. But that somehow he's doing just fine about them not sex. That haunts me every single day. The second one has to do with why I stopped being friends with Jen. I had texted her asking how she was doing, and she told me that her and Stefan had gotten in a huge fight and that he was threatening to y'all know, himself in front of Jen. I freaked out and asked if she had called the police or Stefan's physician. Listen. Listen, I don't know who you are, Jen's friend, but can I just tell you, when you got friends like this, you just need to don't have friends, okay? Because you seem like the only sane person in this whole story. Oh, this is why I don't have friends. I feel you, girl. It says, I freaked out and asked if she called the police or Stefan's physician. So Jen had mentioned he had taken himself off of psych meds just a few months prior. So everybody in the fucking family is on psych meds, okay? That's what's going on. When I said drugs, I was right. I just didn't know it was Big Farm. Seriously. Wow. So, let's see here. So this friend said, do you want you and Maddie to stay with me since Stefan didn't have anywhere to live yet? So they had this big fight, and this friend offers to let Jen and Maddie come stay with her. She said no to all of it, and everything was fine. Like it was a normal thing for someone to say or do. Yeah, because it's normal to her. She's probably going through this shit every week. I was floored by her complete lack of urgency, especially considering he always had a loaded gun on him, and her daughter was in that house with them. At that point, I told her I would not be going to her house or being around Stefan at all until he got help and back on his meds. She got super mad at me and never messaged me again. Never messaged her again. I should have called the cops or something. I should have done literally anything to help shine a light on the darkness in that house. It's me every day. Now, this is alleged. I feel bad for this woman if this is true, because it seems like she was the only normal damn person in the damn city mile rage something. The whole city. I mean, hell, it sounds like the cops can't even do a job on this. Everybody knew this was an issue, and allegedly, So somebody asked this supposed friend of Jen's if it says it's shocking but not surprising. Was Jen intellectually slow in your opinion? Did she ever brag or complain about Maddie? This was a question asked to the friend of Jennifer, supposedly, allegedly. It says she didn't come off as intellectually slow, but she did come off like she was trying to hide that she was severely mentally ill. One thing we bonded over is we both have bipolar 1 and both took the same medication. So, yes, everybody in the freaking house is on meds. Stefan was on meds. Apparently, he stopped taking them, allegedly. Maddie was on meds. He stopped taking them, allegedly. And Jen was on meds. Lord, and I hope the room, I mean, it was just a pharmacy up in that bitch. It was just a pharmacy. You need something, you can just go to the Sotos down the road. They got you. Like, seriously. Everybody's on drugs. She took, so it says they bonded because she was on the same medication. She took a larger dose than me and took it all right before bed. She expressed to me that it basically knocked her completely out and that she struggled severely to get up in the mornings due to how groggy she felt. That sounds like me with melatonin. So this feeling, I also had this experience with Seroquel and Depakote, and I've been on some meds, baby, in my youth. Why do you think I don't take that shit now? I mean, I tried everything before I was 16. So, yeah. I'm good. I was a guinea pig for the state for years. That's why I don't like this stuff. It's bad. You're better off with exercise, diet, a regular schedule, and yeah. I know this. This is why I fight so hard. Things the right way. I want a job. I want to go to school. I want that schedule. I need that discipline. And that's the best thing to do when you're getting clean. And that's what I've stuck to up until this economy is just gone to shit, dude. I can't find work to save my life. So let's see. It says that Jen was taking more medicine than she could. It would, she couldn't sleep. Said she felt groggy in the morning. So her friend said you should take half in the morning and half at night, but she said the only way she can actually go to sleep is take the full dose at night. There was also a time that she wanted us to rent a hotel room and not take our meds, basically to increase musical and artistic expression due to mania. I literally replied, haha, nope. But that let me know she was really irresponsible about managing her mental health illness. So apparently her birthday party was at her grandma's house. Remember I just said that? And they pray that her last day at her grandma's was a good day, even though she was upset that she had to go back to her mom's house. They were saying, and I hope so too. I hope that birthday was a great birthday for her. And I hope that she did have a crush on a little boy. I really do. I hope that, I hope that she did. I hope that, God, man. I hope they get this son of a bitch, y'all. They better give him the death penalty. Somebody commented to me also, this is affecting my mentality. This was not just a hit. This was a miss. My mind can hardly sleep. I don't understand why she's not in jail as of yet. Me either. And this fucking gentleman they doing, that's why. Y'all don't see how, relaxed everything's come, people are not going to jail for committing crimes anymore. They just, commit crimes and get out on sign themselves out on their own recognizance. That's what you can do. You can go commit a heinous crime and just sign yourself out tomorrow. It's bullcrap. So, somebody says, good point. So somebody says, I had to let that go. As much as I don't want to believe she, after listening to the interview from his parents and a few other things, I just don't see how Jen did not know. At the very So Jen said, back in the day, before Stefan come in their life, she was hyper vigilant with Maddie around men. And this Redditor says, what happened? It says, Maddie Soto will forever be 13. This went on for 7 to 8 years. So when were you so hyper vigilant about her being around males? And what made you vigilant about it? And this person says, I think that's the word she used. I suggest that you watch Grizzly on YouTube. Whoa, what happened? Go back. My fat little fingers. It says, I suggest that you watch Grizzly YouTube. I really like her. She breaks it all down for us very well, in my opinion. She also protects our mental health as best that she can. Sorry, you guys. She is going over the blah, 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 blah. So apparently there's some person named Grizzly on YouTube that covers this case. I'm going to go watch that tonight, actually, because I want to see her opinion too. A bunch of people saying that poor Maddie had nobody on her side. What? Hold on. I can't comprehend how Jennifer Soto was deemed fit to parent Maddie Soto. Jennifer Soto literally can't answer any questions without, let me check my phone. How does she not know the names of her mom's businesses or the address? How was she so lazy that she needed a good night's rest after her part-time job to prepare for her day off on Monday? That she sent her 13-year-old daughter to sleep with her boyfriend? She clearly mentions, I need my medications. In fact, it was the only time in those interviews she showed actual concern when she thought she wouldn't be able to retrieve her medications. She couldn't maintain a stable job or stable living situation. I'm sorry, renting a room in your dad's condo with random strangers is not stable or safe for a child. Having your teenage daughter in a makeshift room in the living room is not safe or... So that was her room. Her daughter was completely withdrawn, failing classes. Oh my God. Suffering from severe anxiety to the point of having panic attacks at school, and no one thought to step in. Y'all, this is what I'm saying. If any, this is all alleged because the news hasn't released this. I don't know where these people are getting information from, but I mean, it sounds pretty solid to me, bro. Y'all ready? We write it down. Like, this chick got me pissed. How? Like, but for real, if all of this stuff, even if just 10% of it's true, how did this girl still slip through the cracks this fucking bad? All of these roommates that were sending Jen texts saying, why is your boyfriend in the bed with your daughter? Like, they should have called the police, okay? If you were in a housing situation like this and you see someone, teenage daughter having a bed with her boyfriend, this is when you call CPS. This is when you call CPS. This is just weird. And, you know, I don't know, it might have been different if Vaughn came into her life when she was, 2 years old and he had been raising her up until 13. That might have been different, not to sleep in the bed. Here's the thing, I never slept in the bed with my dad. You know what I mean? Like, no, not my stepdad, especially not my stepdad, you know? Now, that's kind of crazy that I say that because I was molested by my dad and I was molested when sleeping with my dad. And that was my biological father. But my stepfather, I never slept in the bed with that man. And he raised me since I was 2 until 20-something. So, I'm just saying that these roommates' guts, their intuition was kicking off for a reason, baby. Trust your damn gut. This girl is prepubescent. She's a teenager now. She just had her 13th birthday. This is weird. It's crossing the line, you know? Like, I don't know, man. It would have been different if he was raising this child and adopted this child and, like, it was movie night and they were watching a movie. That's different. But we know that he did. It just makes it all worse. Like, you know, circumstances. It's just, I don't know. I think that I'm wrong in saying that no father should sleep in the bed with their daughter. Maybe, you know, it's normal in some houses. But, you know, there was no boundaries in this household. So this is a different situation. I think in a normal household, there are boundaries and there's a time for everything in certain situations. Does that make any sense? But this is a damn running red flag, okay? This is a runaway train of fire. Like, I mean, legitimately, this is crazy that nobody did anything. Let's see what they say. It says these statements are in the area are all correct. I think about Maddie every day. I can't have kids. Do you know? God. So sad. I want to see what they say about her mental health, Jennifer's. So it says here the grandmother of Jennifer, of Maddie, so it's Jennifer's mother. The grandmother thought they had broken up in December when Stefan had moved out. What happened in December? We don't know. And I know a lot of people discuss the teachers. Hold on. I truly believe eventually and soon it was going to out, and Stefan acted in panic, and Jen let him do whatever he wanted with her daughter for years. Why would she suddenly stop him? Jen couldn't give you details of her mom's doctor's or her mom's office or hold on. They're saying that all that Jennifer seemed to be concerned about once this investigation kicked off was Stefan. She, you know, she didn't care about her daughter. She cared about Stefan. She didn't even know certain addresses that she should have knew, you know, for her mother. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, I do feel like Jen was some sort of a victim in this. I think that it's more of her own. I think it's because of her mental capacity, and I do think it has to do with her mental disabilities, like her mental disorders. But in that case, Maddie should have never been with her. So still and yet, Maddie was failed by the system. Maddie was failed, you know, by the Department of Health and Human Services. And here's the thing, it sounds like she was struggling financially. I would love to know if they were on any assistance programs. You know, man, this shit all goes back together. I just can't put it into words, but it's just one circle. And we know that Jen was working a job and Stefan wasn't. So where is he getting money? Probably fucking Jen. So I have no doubt that he was mooching off of her, living up her house, abusing her daughter. But at some point, girl, you got to call the police, okay? Hello? Yeah, I'm going to need you to bring 5 of your best men right now. You know? Like, girl, like, you got to be your own protector. And when you have children, you have to be their protector. And, you know, I think that Jen has probably been through a lot herself. But at the end of the day, failed Maddie, and at the very least, she should face charges for neglect, at the very least. Which is, I think it's a damn misdemeanor. Come on, man. Like, something. I mean, personally, I think she should be charged with a felony. But, you know, I'm just saying, if you that tender-hearted, I was just shooting out some bullshit. If you that tender-hearted, yeah. So let's see. It says there's been, so this was 21 hours ago. So there's people literally right now in here. Let's see when the last one was. 10 hours ago. So there's literally people adding to this. So it seems like, you know, he's in court right now. So this took place a while back, but he's in court right now. And a lot of stuff is coming out. Okay, let me see if I can get through this. The sad fact is that there is no barrier being a parent. Your points are why I have been suspicious of her whole family. The interview the grandmother gave before Maddie was discovered was appalling. Wasn't there a cousin on the officer's cam that hinted that the family knew more? The mother's business is suspicious. The father buying the condo for his daughter iffy, considering that they have rented out the rooms, but the granddaughter didn't even have a room. It's all a huge mess, explosion of sadism and cruelty. So what they're saying is apparently Jen's mother owns some sketchy, suspicious businesses. We can look into that tomorrow or something. It says that Jen's father is actually the one that bought the condo for his daughter. So this was Jen's house. Stefan had her renting out rooms. Oh, lady, that's my belief. That's just my belief. I'm allowed to feel that way. And he had her working, and he's living there, and he's taking Maddie back and forth to school, and he's doing nothing. He's not looking for work. He's doing nothing. This is crazy. This is how one bad person, one bad apple can come into your life and ruin it. Straight ruin it. So it says her family seems off as well. That's what I'm telling you guys. People like this, who I've met a lot of off people, and their parents were off as well. So, you know, it's genetics, science. We love that shit. So it says her family is off as well. A 13-year-old crying when it's time to go home is not normal. That's what I said. Maybe if she was a toddler, we could chalk it up to a tantrum. But a 13-year-old, that's beyond concerning. The baby didn't want to go home. She made that. Maybe she was actually going to tell her grandma or whoever, and then sending her home, she decided she wouldn't tell. God, I hope not. What is CYA? What? It says, remember that bizarre interview that she gave before Maddie was found? Insane. The grandmother knew what they were. Y'all, we got to go find it. Because this is like the 6th time they done mentioned it. We got to see the interview with the grandmother of Jennifer. It's Maddie's grandmother, so it's Jennifer's mother. My door's locked. All right. Maddie Soto's grandmother's interview before she was found. Soto.
Maddie Soto's grandmother's interview before she was found.
Oh no, what is this? Grandma. Yeah, let's talk about
Lincoln sedan.
This is it. This is the Grizzly channel, I guess. See, it just popped up.
I remember, but not his face. I talked to him. He showed me his little.
So listen, Barry, because what the security guard is talking about is when Stefan Stearns had actually, because remember he left
Maddie's
the
grandma
complex
as well. Where is it at? Maddie's grandma.
Okay. Yeah, but anyway, and then there.
Roommate, family member.
If we could, we would put one out for everybody because we get a lot of help that way. So, but it is being worked on at the back end. But by all means, if you guys want to start a GoFundMe, you can. I will tell you this. Typically, if we can't stop you guys from doing anything like that, typically the more that stuff gets out into the media, the harder it makes it for us, right? Yeah, sometimes that's how.
That's a family member. I don't know who.
I can't tell you that. It's just what happens with the media sometimes is they put information out there that's not accurate, and that can sometimes hurt our investigation. But again, I can't tell you. You guys do what you feel you need the family. We're going to be doing everything on our end for you guys.
Hold on, let me back up.
Red flag. Of course, was Stefan Stearns at that point, but who knows what else went on, you know, in that house.
Exactly.
It's quite scary. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're about halfway there now. Okay. This is weird. I don't know.
So that was a roommate. Hold on one second.
You know, she's like that with me, you know, with
Yeah.
things.
I wonder what Grandma had to say.
Members, especially the ones that are closest with her, know. But hey, the second you hear from her, you need to let us know.
She's with Steven. Stefans.
Communicate that to detectives, because at the end of the day, our biggest concern is her safety, right? We don't care about anything else. We don't care. She could walk up to me right now and be like, I robbed a store, and I'd be like, okay.
Man, I wish I could hear the grandmother. So I'm going to find it and we'll watch it tomorrow, y'all. Because they keep talking about that on Reddit, and I want to know what they're talking about. They're saying that when Maddie went missing, her grandmother gave a statement to the media, and it's weird. She sounded crazy, and she sounded like she was like distancing herself from Maddie. And yeah, it says there was body cam footage that was implying that one of the cousins implying that the family knew more. It says, I find it super sad that Maddie used to have her own room when the other little girl lived there too. Her stepsister possibly, I can't remember. And why was she left? Everything changed. And when she left, everything changed for Maddie. She was failed by so many. There were clearly so many adults that ignored the red flags. Grandparents, cousins, parents, teachers. Ooh, I'm not a teacher, but I thought it was common knowledge that if a kid regularly sleeps during class, something's definitely wrong. And when SS moved out, the counselor said she'd been getting better for those 2 or 3 months. She was happier, her grades were improving. So it says, this person says, I listened to Grizzly's True Crime yesterday. This was posted 14 hours ago, so everybody's going and watching this Grizzlies thing. She said, breaks down the interview with some of Maddie's teachers, and it sounds like a few of them knew something was off, but they didn't really dig too deep. One of the teachers did notice that how tired Maddie was, and that she reached out to Jennifer to address it, and Jennifer told her something along the lines of, I forget to give her medication this morning. You're just seeing her in her natural state. Stop giving your kids these fucking drugs, y'all. Jesus. Stop. They need to be normal. They don't need all this shit in their system. That poor child was left to fend for herself. When I see pictures of her happy, I'm always amazed that she was able to smile knowing what was going on in her life. This case is gut-wrenching. So it says allegedly, there was also a counselor that contacted Jennifer as well, and a teacher. And Jennifer told the counselor Maddie already had a therapist she was seeing. So they tried to intervene by getting Maddie to like therapy, and Jennifer said no, she got one. Y'all, this family is weird. Half of this I don't want to read because it's just like, it's hard for me to make it make sense. But like, it says, duty runs where I saw the body cam footage, and it was among the first data dumps back in March. I think Ron points out that the officer later sees a stray Soto sitting outside and all by herself, and she says something vague, but it seemed to suggest that there was more going on, which seems evident from the body cam footage with the family. Their priority was not Maddie, but practicing CYA. What is that? That's like the third time up. CYA. Does anybody know what that is? Yeah, Jennifer needs to definitely go to jail. I'm telling you right now, if it was you or me, they would have done damn set us on fire like the damn Salem witch trials in the middle of the damn town. What you talking about? You know, mental health on these meds and it causing you permanent brain damage is not a defense. I'm sorry. You chose to take the damn meds. So it's your own fault if you're having issues because of it, honey. And it does cause issues. Some of those mental health meds are doing more damage than good to you. I can promise you that. Let's see what their priority was. Not mad, but practicing. What is practicing CYA? What is CYA? Let me just Google it. Damn, I don't want to lose this though. How do I? Nope, come back. We're going to have to Google that tomorrow. I'm going to screenshot that, and I'm also going to screenshot so I know what to look up for her grandma. I want to see that interview. They said that her grandma was really off in that, and her cousins, that they were all shit sketchy. I believe it. So the cop rolls up, and he sees a stray Soto family member sitting outside by herself, and she says something vague, but it seems to suggest that there was more going on in the family, which seems evident from the body cam footage with the family. Their priority was not Maddie, but practicing CYA. See ya? Oh, god dang, Brooke. Jesus fucking Christ. See ya! Take me home. It's see ya. See ya. See ya. Like, I thought CYA was like an abbreviation for a religion or something. I'm just being for real. Yeah, see ya. So it says that the body cam footage shows that Maddie was not a priority, but see ya was. Practicing see ya. This is crazy. Yes, this is what got me. It says, how nonchalant she was when her child was missing bothers me. I'd be a wreck if my nephews or niece are missing, so it's not hard to notice a mother being so casual about a missing child. Even if she has a disorder where she giggles when she's stressed, it was just undeniable that there was no sense of urgency, I agree, or the severe distress that should have come with that police report. So it says so nonchalant. She knew that Maddie did not have her phone that day, but she still left the school when Maddie didn't come out. Yeah. Wow. Well, people rip into her. It says she was definitely an unfit mother. You can tell by the way that she talks about Maddie. All she cared about was her drugs, and makes that quite clear in her police interview when she is more concerned about getting her meds than the fact that her child is missing. You know why? Because a lot of those mental health meds are physically addicted, so she's addictive. So I took Seroquel, bro, for a month, and it took me 2 weeks to come off Seroquel. This was just last year. That was the first mental health drug I've been on since I was probably 16, you know? And I was like, well, damn, they're telling me I need it, so let me try Xanax and Seroquel. No, I don't need that shit. Let me tell you. I don't need it. I'm better off like this. I can promise you that. At least you have the good Brooke, okay? Because I don't know who I am on that other mess. I just know it ain't good. And, yeah, a lot of these meds, though, you'll have to physically withdraw if you come off of them. And that means you're going to have cold sweats. I know when I came off of Seroquel, I was a mess. It was very similar. It's bad, but it was very reminiscent of coming off of heroin. I was nauseous. I couldn't eat. I couldn't barely sleep. My whole body ached for 2 weeks coming off of Seroquel. And I only took it for probably 2 months, maybe right at 2 months. But, you know, when they put you on these things, they don't tell you the ins and outs and the truth that you're going to be sick as fuck if you don't have it. But they're hoping that you get sick as fuck. That way you keep going back to the pharmacy and getting that prescription, baby. That's how they get you. So, you know, and once again, I don't feel like mental health and mental health drugs is a clear defense. It's not. I'm sorry. You chose to do this to yourself at this point. And I know they had doctors misguiding you, but it's not a defense. It says she made bad decision after bad decision for years. At the end of the day, Jennifer was just as responsible for Maddie's safety and well-being, and she dropped that ball. Those are just the facts. So somebody said, I don't think this is a medication issue. This is a character issue and probably some kind of personality disorder. I don't know. I think the meds... It says if she takes meds and it's foggy, that doesn't mean you allow your boyfriend to abuse your child. She pretends like Maddie is a little girl who needs someone to put her to bed. She was 13. She didn't need her mother's boyfriend to get her ready for bed. She knew what was going on and she allowed it. That's what I'm saying. Jen had not seen her kid. Like I said, she was at her grandma's, and then she goes to her mama's house, and Jen hasn't even seen her kid for her daughter's birthday. Her daughter just had a birthday party. They had it at mama's house. And Jen just rushes her off to Stefan's room. I mean, it's disgusting. She had to have known. She had to have known. And this Redditor points out a good point. The only thing that he would have needed... I mean, I feel like... I genuinely feel like he was up her ass 24/7. Like, he was literally on her like white on rice. She never had a minute to breathe. Anytime she was out of school, he was right beside her. Anytime... I just feel like there's so much more to this that people don't understand how these people work. And I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, she didn't have a free moment to herself. She couldn't even breathe because he was probably going through her phone. He probably controlled everything, how she went to school looking like, y'all don't understand. And then her mother is not even there for her. Her mother's working a part-time job and not even home half the time, and the other half of the time she's high on mental health meds. This man in his head felt like he had a relationship with this 13-year-old child. He's looking at it as a relationship, and he's got unlimited access to this child. It's sickening. I mean, I bet she wasn't even allowed to walk into a gas station by herself type of deal. Like, it's just pathetic how possessive these type of people are. This man is sick, and I truly feel like her mother knew it, and she allowed it to happen. And then here we read that so-and-so says that one of these posts said that Jen didn't even want to have a sexual relationship with Stefan. So now I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, how does that work? Why are you even in a relationship? So now they're questioning, this was hours ago, they're questioning where the bio father of Maddie was. Jen was unfit and everybody knew it unless he was worse. And unless her dad was worse, and I don't see fighting Jen a hard fight in court. Also, it seems like everyone knew Matt was sleeping in the bed with him. His mom said she would refuse to let them sleep in bed together at her house. What in the ever-loving freak, y'all? So, like I said, Stefan's parents supposedly knew that Stefan and Maddie were sleeping together in the same bed. And supposedly, Stefan's mama said, well, it wasn't happening at my house because I done told him it ain't happening over here. This is disgusting. Like I said, I truly believe that he felt like he was in a relationship with this young girl. And I bet that this girl couldn't even go take a shower in peace without this man being a pervert. These type of people don't let you breathe. They want to be right where you are at all times. You do not have a life of your own. They are on you. Like, they are like attached at the hip. You can't breathe. And I can only imagine this man being, almost 40, and this poor girl going through this for years, the fear that she must have felt and how trapped she must have felt. And then all of the adults in her life just allow it to happen. And the one roommate that says something, her concerns are shut down with the simple thanks from Jennifer. Jennifer absolutely should be in jail, 1,000%. And the only thing that I can think of right now is maybe they haven't charged her, is they're waiting to sentence him, and then they're going to charge her. That's the only thing that I can think of. And God, I hope so. I hope that there's a reason that they are holding off charge. I hope they are waiting to be able to get her for more charges. Maybe they building a case against her. God, I hope so. God, I hope so. So nobody's understanding where the bio dad is. Wow. So listen to this. This is how abusers get protection. So Stefan's mother said that she would refuse to let Maddie and Stefan sleep together in the bed at her house, and would have Maddie sleep with her. Stefan's mother would make Maddie sleep in the same bed with her to get her away from Stefan. So these people knew this shit was going on. Stefan said that his mother had told him multiple times that it was inappropriate to be sleeping with Maddie. This is all alleged. So it says Maddie's biological father is taking such a positive role in her life, and then came out to speak about her murder and how he doesn't know if Jen is a good mother or not. He is also insane. He's also insane. Y'all, these people be tearing them up on Reddit. I love it. I didn't know that Reddit was like, yeah. Ooh, Maddie had a notebook. What was in the notebook? So it says, Maddie had been using an abuse resources and working through some kind of questionnaire. Yo. There's so much. I could probably go on for the next 2 hours. That's crazy. All of this is absolutely crazy. It doesn't surprise me one bit, though. As soon as I saw him, and then I saw Jen on the news talking, I said, something ain't right here. Let me go check this shit out. What's going on over here? For real. Because, like, it's just like, how? Like, I don't understand. You know the law's messed up when, children like this can slip through the cracks. You just know it's messed up. And then to hear all the family supposedly, allegedly, knowing that this was taking place, it's just heartbreaking. And poor Maddie, her last days, thank God she got some freedom away from this son of a bitch. At least she got to go to her party and hopefully had a crush on a little boy. Like, it's just so messed up that people like Jen can have kids. It sounds like family. If that's true, that her dad bought her that condo, and her mother and them have these like businesses and stuff that they try to come out of, it sounds like they might have a little bit of money, and they were just trying to like do something nice for Jen because they know that she's not mentally there. I don't know. Maybe. That's just that's just my assumption. But, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they just got it like that and they can buy a condo for everybody. It just didn't seem like Jen was made of money, though. It didn't seem like they had a lot of money. And then we find out that supposedly her mother and sister owned some businesses. Supposedly her grandmother started immediately distancing herself. It said the whole family was in the art of see ya, like see ya later. So, yeah. I wonder what they got going on. A lot of these families like that, man, they got secrets. You open one can, it's going to lead to another can getting opened, and then another can, and them damn dominoes going to start falling, and before you know it, the whole family's business is out in the middle of town getting aired out, like, you know? So, I don't know. I mean, if they've got something to hide, then of course they're going to distance themselves from Maddie's case, because they're hiding shit, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know if they're good people, bad people. We're definitely going to look into this tomorrow. I'm going to go find that interview with Jen's mama. And I'm also going to watch Grizzly. So if you want to go watch that, we can talk about that in the morning, or tomorrow. I definitely need to do a talk it too, because we haven't talked about any of the updated illegal immigrant stories, and there is stuff in the news. So we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow at 2. But I hope you guys have a good night. And remember, if you see something out here, say something. You know, children are very good at hiding things. They are, especially when they're going through things. And I don't know. I've seen some situations, and that's always what my mind goes to, because I'm a victim of that. So when I see a young girl having a problem, I'm like, yo, you need to check in with your teen. You need to ask her if something's happened at, you know, the mama's house or the daddy's house, or, you know, and it was a friend of mine that had a trouble with, you know, a teenager, and that was what my mind immediately went to, because a child doesn't go from making A's and being a good student to freaking felon like that. You know, Maddie seemed to be doing really good before Stefan come into their life. I want to go find some more pictures and stuff of her too, and see if I can find out like a timeline of when he came into their life. The pictures that I've seen of Maddie when she was younger, she looks horrible. I mean, you can look at that child and see that something was wrong. And then we see the pictures of her at her 13th birthday party. Those were just released. She's in this like dress. I think it's like a purple dress, like a 90s style dress. And she looks gorgeous. And she just looked different. She definitely looked older. But she's still, like that one Redditor said, it's almost like it's like a shyness, but it's an unsureness too. It's like they're shy, but you can almost see how unsure of themselves they are too. I don't know how to explain it, but you can tell that something was going on with her. And it's really screwed up that her family and community failed her miserably. We get reports from the teacher. We get reports from the camp. We get reports from everybody. And it's all bad. And nobody said shit. But I love you guys, and we will talk tomorrow. If you see something, say something. Pray for me, because God knows I need it. And I'm praying for you guys. Y'all be safe out there.